In the heart of a dusty canyon town, there lived a passionate brewmaster named Jasper. He was known for his talent in crafting unique drinks that brought joy to the townsfolk, especially during the hot summer days. With twinkling blue eyes and a bright smile, Jasper had a way of making everyone feel welcome in his small brewery. The walls were lined with barrels, each filled with his latest creations, and the air was always filled with the sweet smell of fermentation. Jasper loved experimenting with flavors, blending fruits and herbs from the canyon's rich landscape. His brew not only quenched thirst but also told stories of the land around him. The townspeople often gathered at his brewery after long days, sharing laughter and tales over a glass of his finest drink. To Jasper, brewing was more than just a job, it was a way to bring people together and celebrate life in their little canyon community. Little did he know that soon he would face a challenge that would test his passion and kindness like never before. One scorching afternoon, as the sun blazed overhead, a shadow flickered at the edge of the canyon town. A figure emerged, stumbling through the dust with tattered clothes and a wild look in his eyes. It was a bandit, though not the kind that the townsfolk had heard tales about. This man seemed weary and parched, desperate for relief from the heat that bore down on him like a heavy weight. As he approached the brewery, his heart raced with both fear and hope. The townspeople gossiped about him, their whispers laced with curiosity and caution. But the bandit just needed one thing, a drink. His throat felt like sandpaper, and he could hardly remember the last time he had tasted anything refreshing. Jasper spotted the bandit's struggle from behind the bar and felt a spark of compassion ignite within him. He saw not just a stranger but someone in need. Deciding to help, Jasper prepared to offer the man something special, unaware of how this encounter would change everything. The sun hung high in the sky, radiating heat that shimmered off the dusty streets. It felt like an oven, and every breath brought a wave of sticky warmth. Townsfolk went about their business, but their movements were sluggish as they wiped sweat from their brows. The air was thick with tension, and the usually lively chatter faded to murmurs about the oppressive heat. Children played under the sparse shade of trees, while adults sought refuge in their homes or at Jasper's brewery, hoping for relief from the scorching sun. Everyone felt the urgency of hydration weighing on them. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. With each passing moment, people grew more restless, glancing toward the sky for signs of a cool breeze. In this sweltering atmosphere, the arrival of the bandit heightened anxieties. His ragged appearance stood out against the town's already uneasy mood. All eyes followed him as he approached Jasper's brewery, where hope lingered like a mirage in the desert. Would he find solace in this haven, or would his presence stir even more trouble? As the bandit approached the brewery, Jasper felt a swell of compassion rise within him. The man looked exhausted and defeated, and for a moment, Jasper could see more than just a bandit, he saw a fellow human in dire need. Although the townsfolk had warned about outsiders causing trouble, something deep inside Jasper urged him to act. He knew that helping the bandit might bring suspicion from his friends and neighbors, but the brewmaster's heart was set on doing what felt right. He thought of the hot sun beating down on the man, making it hard to breathe, let alone think straight. In that moment, Jasper resolved to help him. Jasper quickly wiped his hands on his apron and grabbed a pitcher filled with cool, refreshing brew. He wanted to create an oasis for this weary traveler, even if it meant facing backlash from those who might judge him. After all, wasn't brewing about connection and kindness? He took a deep breath, steeling himself for whatever response awaited as he stepped forward to offer relief. With determination in his heart, Jasper hurried into the back of the brewery, where the cool air wrapped around him like a comforting blanket. He scanned the shelves filled with jars of local fruits, herbs, and spices, his mind racing with ideas. What could I create that would refresh him in this heat, he thought. Jasper grabbed ripe peaches, their sweet fragrance inviting and soothing. He sliced them carefully, releasing their juicy essence into the air. Next, he reached for sprigs of mint, known for its invigorating qualities. The vibrant green leaves promised a burst of flavor that would awaken the senses. Combining the peaches and mint in a large jug, he added sparkling water to give it a refreshing fizz. As he stirred the mixture, Jasper felt excitement bubbling within him. He added a touch of honey for sweetness, making sure it would be just right for the bandit's tired spirit. This special batch was not only a drink, it was a heartfelt gesture meant to bring comfort in a time of need. With a smile, Jasper poured the vibrant concoction into a glass and prepared to offer it to the weary traveler waiting outside. As Jasper prepared the refreshing drink for the bandit, a shadow loomed over the brewery. The local Temperance League, known for their strict opposition to alcohol, had gathered outside, their leader, Mrs. Hargrove, at the forefront. Clad in a long dress and armed with a determined expression, she was a force to be reckoned with in the small town. The Temperance League believed that any form of brewing encouraged trouble. They viewed Jasper's work as a threat to their mission of promoting sobriety and self-control. "We must protect our town from the dangers of alcohol," Mrs. Hargrove declared, her voice rising above the murmurs of agreement from her supporters. The group had made it clear that they would not tolerate any brewing activity, especially not in these trying times. Unbeknownst to Jasper, the League had noticed the bandits' arrival and were intent on stopping any potential chaos before it could begin. As they plotted their next move, tension filled the air outside the brewery, setting the stage for an inevitable clash between compassion and conviction. As the sweet aroma of Jasper's concoction wafted through the open doors of the brewery, townsfolk began to take notice. Curiosity sparked among the citizens, and whispers of excitement spread like wildfire. Some gathered near the brewery, drawn by the promise of a refreshing drink on such a blistering day. Children peeked through windows, their eyes wide with wonder, while adults exchanged glances, unsure of what this brewing activity might mean. However, lurking nearby, the members of the Temperance League sensed the growing buzz and tightened their formation. Mrs. Hargrove's stern gaze scanned the crowd, ready to confront any potential chaos that might arise from Jasper's brewing. As more townspeople gathered, their energy shifted between anticipation and apprehension, unsure whether to support the brewmaster or heed the League's warning. The atmosphere crackled with tension as excitement mingled with fear. Would Jasper's act of kindness unite the town or ignite a conflict? The delicate balance between compassion and conviction hung in the air, setting the stage for an impending showdown. As the townsfolk buzzed with excitement, Mrs. Hargrove stepped forward, her voice cutting through the chatter like a knife. "This brewing only invites trouble," she declared, her eyes narrowing at Jasper as he stood proudly with the glass of refreshing drink in hand. "You may think you're helping, but all you're doing is promoting the very thing that can destroy our community." Jasper's heart pounded as he faced the League members, their rigid stances reflecting their unwavering beliefs. "I'm simply trying to provide comfort to someone in need," he replied, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "This is about kindness and support for anyone who walks through my door." A murmur rippled through the gathered crowd as some townsfolk began to side with Jasper, recognizing the importance of compassion in their close-knit community. Others, influenced by the League's strong message, remained skeptical. The tension escalated, with supporters on both sides voicing their opinions. The clash of values, supporting the vulnerable versus upholding strict principles, created an electric atmosphere as the town stood divided at a crucial moment. The tension reached a boiling point as Mrs. Hargrove, unable to sway the crowd with words alone, turned to her fellow League members. "We must take action," she exclaimed, her voice filled with urgency. In a wave of fervor, they marched toward Jasper's brewery, determined to destroy what they believed was poison to their community. With shouts of indignation, the League members began smashing barrels, their wooden staves splintering loudly as they hit the ground. The sweet brew that Jasper had crafted spilled out like lost hope into the dust. Gasps erupted from the crowd, and chaos ensued as townsfolk scrambled to intervene or fled in shock. Jasper stepped forward in disbelief, heart racing as he watched his hard work being destroyed. "Stop! Please," he pleaded, but his cries were drowned out by the clamor of shattered wood and pouring liquid. The atmosphere shifted from anticipation to alarm as villagers realized that this destructive act threatened not only Jasper's brewing but also the bonds of community that he had worked so hard to build. In the midst of the chaos, the bandit, who had remained silent until now, felt a surge of courage rising within him. He stepped forward from the shadows, his voice steady but determined. "Stop this madness," he shouted, catching the attention of both the Temperance League and the townsfolk. "You're destroying not just barrels but the spirit of this community." His unexpected bravery startled those around him. The townspeople, initially wary of him, began to listen. "Jasper helped me when I was in need," the bandit continued, gesturing toward the brewmaster. "This isn't about alcohol, it's about compassion and supporting one another in tough times." A murmur of agreement spread through the crowd as more people began to nod in support. The bandit's words sparked a flicker of unity among those who had once been divided. Jasper watched, heartened by this display of courage. The townsfolk started stepping forward, ready to stand alongside the bandit and defend Jasper's work, transforming tension into a rallying point for community support against the destructive forces before them. As the bandit's words hung in the air, the townsfolk began to stir with newfound purpose. One by one, they stepped forward, recalling the times Jasper had served them during their own hardships. "He's right," cried an elderly woman from the back. "Jasper has always been there for us." Inspired by this call for unity, others chimed in, sharing stories of how Jasper's brews had brought comfort and joy to their lives. The atmosphere shifted as people instinctively moved closer together, forming a protective barrier around both the brewmaster and the bandit. Bolstered by their shared resolve, they turned to face Mrs. Hargrove and her followers. "We need to support each other," another townsperson declared passionately. "Compassion should be our guiding principle." The tension transformed into a collective determination to defend what they valued most, a community bound by kindness and understanding. With hearts aligned, the townsfolk stood together against any further destruction, determined to protect Jasper's work and foster a spirit of solidarity that would strengthen their ties and heal divisions. Amidst the standoff, Jasper took a deep breath and stepped forward, his heart pounding but determined. "Mrs. Hargrove, I understand your concerns about alcohol and how it affects our community," he said earnestly. "But my brewing is about connection and support. It's not just a drink, it's what brings us together." The townsfolk nodded, their support for Jasper evident. Mrs. Hargrove considered his words, her expression softening as she saw the unity in the crowd. "Perhaps we need to find common ground," she replied slowly. "We all want what's best for our town." In that moment of realization, Jasper proposed a compromise. He would create non-alcoholic beverages alongside his traditional brews, ensuring everyone could feel included while still honoring the League's mission. The crowd murmured in agreement, appreciating this solution. The atmosphere shifted as both sides recognized they shared a love for their community. With a nod of respect, Mrs. Hargrove accepted the proposal, and a sense of relief washed over everyone. Compassion had triumphed over division, setting a new path for unity in the canyon town. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the canyon town as excitement buzzed in the air. Jasper's brewery hosted a joyous celebration, filled with laughter and chatter as townsfolk gathered to sample the brewmaster's new line of non-alcoholic creations. Colorful drinks adorned tables, each inspired by fresh fruits and herbs, shimmering like jewels under the soft sunlight. As the bandit stood proudly among them, the townsfolk acknowledged his bravery for standing up in support of Jasper. Stories circulated about his journey, how he had arrived at their doorstep with nothing but desperation and the thirst for a kind gesture. People shared how his courage had helped them recognize the importance of community and compassion. The atmosphere transformed into one of unity and festivity, as neighbors toasted with sparkling drinks and reflected on the lessons learned. Jasper felt a wave of gratitude wash over him, realizing that through this conflict, they had forged stronger bonds. Together, they celebrated not only the refreshing drinks but also their newfound understanding and the spirit of togetherness that would carry them forward. As the celebration continued, the townsfolk reflected on the journey they had taken together. The events that unfolded taught them invaluable lessons about kindness and community spirit. They realized that in times of conflict, it was compassion that could bridge divides and bring people together. Jasper's willingness to help a stranger, despite the risks, highlighted the importance of empathy. The bandits' courage to speak up showed how one voice could inspire unity and understanding among many. Even Mrs. Hargrove, who had initially opposed Jasper's brewing, acknowledged that her commitment to sobriety didn't have to come at the expense of compassion for others. The town had learned that different perspectives could coexist without animosity, fostering a sense of belonging rather than division. With newfound respect for one another, they embraced their differences while prioritizing their shared values. As they clinked glasses filled with colorful, non-alcoholic drinks, they celebrated not just the refreshing beverages but also their collective growth and reaffirmed commitment to supporting each other in every circumstance, together as one community. As the celebration wound down and twilight settled over the canyon town, a sense of calm and fulfillment enveloped the community. Jasper and the townsfolk looked around at their gathering, recognizing how far they had come together. The conflict that had once threatened to divide them had instead forged stronger ties, highlighting the value of empathy, unity, and understanding. No longer merely neighbors, they had become a family linked by shared experiences and challenges. They learned that varying perspectives didn't need to create division, instead, they could foster dialogue, compassion, and ultimately growth. The bandit, who once arrived as an outsider, was now embraced as a valued member of their community. With every clink of glasses filled with refreshing drinks, they celebrated their commitment to supporting one another. The town had emerged more resilient and connected, eager to face future challenges together. As laughter echoed through the evening air, it was clear that kindness had triumphed, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of everyone in the canyon town. Their journey would continue, guided by compassion and the strength of community.